Assalamualaikum everyone. We are from group 3. We present our topic of assignment, which is poverty in urban area. So this is our group member. So we start our presentation with introduction, issue, implication and recommendation towards the issue, and lastly is conclusion. So without further ado, let's begin.
Assalamualaikum, my name is Nur Hazwani binti Zuhairi. Before I start with our main topic, let me explain a little bit about poverty. Poverty can be defined as lack of essential needs to fulfill life necessities such as clean water, food, house and clothing. These issues are familiar that every country faces. There are a few types of poverty such as absolute poverty, hardcore poverty, relative poverty, rural poverty, urban poverty and more. But this presentation will focus more on urban poverty. Urban poverty can be defined as people that live in city with income that below a specific threshold and have limited access to resources, including of lack of access to healthcare, lack of good education, lack of better transportation, and lack of jobs. In the city, poverty will be measured based on poverty line income. Also, in the city, people who earn below than 2,208 ringgit Malaysia monthly is considered as poor. Meanwhile, people who earn below than 1,169 ringgit Malaysia monthly was considered as hardcore poor. Based on this figure, it shows the graph of hardcore poor and poor households in the federal territories in 2019 and 2021. From this figure, we can see that there is an increasing from 2019 to 2021 for three states such as Kuala Lumpur, Putrajaya and Labuan. For example, there is a 41% increase in number of poor in Kuala Lumpur, which is from 2,871 to 4,051. Next, population in city is increasing and expected to continue in the future can contribute to the urban poverty. This is because due to the migration that wants a better life in the city. It can be seen on this figure. It shows the increasing of population from 1950 until 2030. That's all from me. I will pass to the next presenter.
Me, Nurul Nabiha binti Azman, a happy-go-lucky person. If Hazwani already explained on the definition of poverty, type of poverty, concept of urban poverty, let me introduce with the issue regarding the urban poverty in Malaysia. First, according to the World Development Report, there were 495 million urban poor people in 2000, mostly from low and middle income category. City in Malaysia have a beacon hub for employment because of economic expansion and well-developed infrastructure which is create the problem of urban poverty, which is homeless. This is because the daily rise in the number of homeless people because of scarcity of housing for both living and working. Homeless is classified into three categories, which is primary homeless, secondary homeless, and also tertiary homeless. A person who has experienced primary homeless, those who are living and sleeping on the street without seeking help from a shelter or one-stop facility. To put it another way, big cities like Kuala Lumpur, Johor Bahru, Georgetown, Kuching are better places to find homeless. For example, in Kuala Lumpur, we can see these homeless people in Menara Maybank, Plaza Kota Raya, Plaza Seni, Chowgate, Bank Negara, Dataran Merdeka, Masjid Negara, Jalan Tun Abdul Rahman, and also Jalan Pudu. This is a place, a few of nearby landmark in Kuala Lumpur where homeless trigger point may be found. Through the idea, we can see urban poverty can lead the increasing homeless in that area. Even though they are homeless, some of these people were in the city. Renting is not possible due to the high standard of life, which is the employment of market urban poverty is dominated by foreign worker, which drive to the homeless people. The problem of homeless in Malaysia is also involved from the immigrant. They are dragged into a life of misery by the urban poverty in Malaysia. I think that's all from me, and I will pass this presentation to the next presenter.
Assalamualaikum, my name is Anisari Sabiti Muhammad and I'm going to explain about the next issue, which is urban crime. Urban crime is referred to any of the various crimes that have been committed in urban regions. There are a variety of crime cases such as poverty, homelessness and others. Many criminology scholars believe that poverty is a major contributing factor to crime in many societies. As a result, a society that is experiencing financial hardship, a high cost of living, and others will be more likely to commit crimes. Therefore, there is a strong correlation between poverty and crime in a city in which the financial struggles people must make living appearing to be the source of criminal activity. There are a few types of poverty-related crimes. disturbing the peace and quiet of the urban, including stealing, robbery, and others. For example, according to Polis Diraja Malaysia Bukit Aman, Petaling Jaya district recorded the highest number of property crimes from 2015 until 2020 with 40,213 cases. This shows that property crimes cases in Petaling Jaya are more frequent, and Petaling Jaya is one of the urban areas in Malaysia. That's all from me. I will pass to the next presenter.
Thank you, Anis. So, next, we move on to the last issue in urban poverty, which is food insecurity. A lack of consistent access to sufficient food for every household member for maintaining an active lifestyle is known as food insecurity. In general, food in urban areas is abundant and readily available, whether fresh or prepackaged. It is also easily available regardless of whether it is in shops, supermarkets, traditional markets, or grocery stores. However, many foods does not mean that everyone has equal access to nutritious food and to a safe, varied, healthy, and affordable diet. There are geographical differences in food accessibility that are related to monetary limitations on the availability of nutritious meals. As a result, those with low wages lack access to a diet full of nutritious foods like fresh fruits and vegetables, sugars, and legumes, since they cannot afford to buy healthier food sources. According to the States of Food and Nutrition Security in the world, which is SOFI, 3 billion people cannot afford healthy food in 2019, and up to 2 billion people lack access to secure, sufficient, and nutritious food. As cities grow and develop, food insecurity among the urban poor become a major issue. Although average incomes are higher in cities, the incidence of food insecurity in urban areas will often be the same or more than those living in rural areas. As we know, people who live in the urban area eat different food with those who live in the rural area. People living in urban areas have greater food access to processed foods, where most of their meals are high in sugars, salts, and fat. For example, in China, the average urban residents get almost a third of their calories from fat compared to an average of 25% of calories. UN agencies estimates that more than 2 billion people do not have regular access to safe, nutritious, and sufficient food in 2019, and that number is more than 820 million.
Next, the implication toward urban poverty in Malaysia, which can spread the disease. The state of health is impacted on those who are homeless, particularly young people and abandoned children. Their degree of health decline because of living in uncontrolled environment. The welfare of homeless children and young people is also impacted by the living situation. Spreading the disease is one of the main for this effect of homeless people, which is most often have health problem. Some of the disease which they are uncontrolled and permanent, which is as cancer. In addition, they are vulnerable. This dangerous disease such as hepatitis and sexual transmitted infection. This is because they are suffer from disease because of several reasons, which is one of the reasons is homeless have difficulty access to the hospital and also health service. Homeless people usually do not eat for a long time. Also, when they eat, they eat only leftover food. So, for example, as we can see, then often they collect the food from the trash, which means they feed on unhealthy food. For example, if we can see outside of Malaysia, in American Sharikat, the previous space which is homeless occupy, for example, the street, shop and cardboard box mine, dump and unorganized shelter, exposed them to the indecent lifestyle, which is poor can include to the poor choice and high risk of contracting of HIV and also sexual transmitted infection. As a result, individuals have a significant chance of getting infections. This is like flu or hepatitis among other. Young and children who are homeless are also can get a skin condition, respiratory condition like asthma and also pneumonia, because they are exposed to unclean condition while being homeless. They become disease. Okay, I think
the implications of urban crime is fear of crime. Fear of crime can be defined as an emotional reaction of dread or anxiety to crime or symbols that a person associates with crime. It means it is possible to understand people's fear of crime as being fearful, nervous, or worried about becoming a victim of a crime in public places in connection to the immediate signals from the environment. It is because the quality of life for those who live in cities is significantly lowered by fear of crime. From there, citizens begin to socialize less and less over time as they experience the city in a more constrained and cautious manner out of fear of crime. Therefore, it is crucial and necessary to eliminate the fear of crime in order to establish a healthy environment and to enjoy the urban area comfortably and actively. For example, one of the contributing elements to violent crime is inequality of income in the population. From there, people often act in ways they cannot control due to the condition of the economy and their social backgrounds. It means people who are struggling to make a living in urban areas would do anything include physical attacks, robberies, and theft. Therefore, it is considered that all circumstances in the end pose a risk to one's bodily welfare, which contribute to the cause of feeling fear of crime. That's all from me. I will pass to the next presenter.
Thank you, Anis. So, for the last implications of food insecurity in urban poverty is persistent malnutrition. There is not denying that hunger and malnutrition are the worst contributors to urban poverty. Lack of access to nutritious food will lead to an increased risk of various chronic health conditions such as obesity, heart disease, mental health problems, for example, anxiety and depression, and diabetes, among others. The risk of malnutrition and the associated infections and non-communicable chronic diseases can be influenced by the food environment. The severe food insecurity faced by the urban poor during the crisis had an impact where it damaged their children's nutrition, health, and cognitive development in a short period of time. As for the long-term effects, it puts them at a higher risk where a decrease in academic achievement, low economic productivity, overweight, or known as obesity is increasing. These health and nutrition issues are made worse for the urban poor by a lack of access to healthcare, unsafe water and sanitary facilities, as well as a higher exposure to pollutants and air pollution. Once more, these issues negatively impact people living in poverty and widen inequalities in diet and health outcomes. Most urban dwellers do not have access to all or some of the vitamins and minerals needed to stay healthy and energetic. Basically, those who are deficient are still alive yet they maintain poor health and their health is compromised. Famine is the result of a lack of food for them to continue living. Starvation can lead to death. For example, in 2011, as many as 250,000 people died as a result of the famine that occurred in Somalia.
Hi and Assalamualaikum, I'm Daniel Sharaf and I will talk about recommendation. For the first recommendation, in order to overcome the homeless issue in urban area in Malaysia, one of the ways is introducing the housing program or low-cost house program that could help reduce the cost for buying a house and not burden the people to pay for it. This program can be shown when the government established the PPRT or called Program Perumahan Rakyat Termiskin. The Malaysian government has launched a program to help people in the B40 income bracket find housing and do rid of squatter settlement all around the country. Another initiative that can be done is PPP, which is the Project Perumahan Perakku, one of the initiative of the Perak state government to assist wealthy groups, particularly low-income groups, in purchasing their first home is the Rumah Perakku program B40. The resident of Perak will have the chance to purchase their first house through this initiative at a cost that is under RM250,000 for each unit. According to Maju Perak Housing Berhad Executive Chairman Datuk Reza Rafiq Abdul Razak, this home project anticipates selling price range from RM90,000 to RM300,000 for each of its three categories, according to the Perak State Government 2019 budget presentation. From 2018 to 2023, the state government plans to reconstruct 50,000 units of affordable housing in Perak. For the second recommendation is to increase the opportunity of job for the poor people in the urban area in Malaysia. This will help to reduce the issue of the crime rate that happen because people do not have their own income and by the pressure while living in urban areas. For example, in an effort to lower the unemployment rate among the city's most disadvantaged residents, program Kerjaya Up, which is an urban poor career program, will be introduced, which is it run by the Human Resource Ministry through the Social Security Organisation, which is also. In order to support their livelihood, Program Kerjaya Up is a follow-up to the profiling session of Sokso's Jom Kerja program, which was held in many public housing area and people housing projects. Other than that, there is other initiative called Malaysian Family Employment Guarantee. The government budget 2020 to allocate 4.9 billion ringgit to the project, which intend to create about 600,000 job opportunity. Employees who hire Malaysians who have not been active employed will receive a government incentive of 20% of their new highest monthly salary for the first 6 months and 30% for the following 6 months of job paying 1,500 and above under the initiative that will be managed by the SOCSO. Additionally, the incentive is designed to increase job prospect for women and other underrepresented groups, including convicts, orang asli, former service member, people with disability and women in jail. Following the success of the previous apprentice program, the government will continue to provide firms who recruit school leavers and recent graduates between the age of 18 and 13 with incentive of RM900 per month for 6 months.
Thank you, Azim. Assalamualaikum. My name is Nur Akida. Now I will continue this presentation by explaining the third recommendation, which is implement a proper planning and designing of urban area. This recommendation is suggested to the issue of urban crime. The study in the book series titled Urban Geography in Post-Colonial Zimbabwe 2021 mentioned that through a good planning and designing of neighborhoods is effective way to minimize the incidence of crime and can improve urban security. Hence, effective urban planning, design and crime prevention concept and tactic can be used to create a secure physical environment that can reduce the chance of crime occurring, hence boosting security. For example, in Green Mainland area of West Ealing in London, the cause of problem to the crime in that area are basically coming from the design of the area. When they realized the cause of the problem, the architect Karen and partners started to redesign the environment from the multiple escape road, area walkway and open access the isolated user from one another were eliminated. Then replaced to more conventional street that have better built-in security from passing vehicles, other pedestrian and houses that front the street. Then after the redesign, the research showed that the place that built with the secure by design principle have a 50% lower risk of burglary and a 25% lower chance of car crime. This means a proper planning and design of city help to reduce the urban crimes and enhance the security. Thus, government play an important role to implement a good planning and designing because it is important to enhance the security and increase the quality of life. From that, the crime cases can be reduced in urban area. Lastly, the recommendation is referred to the third issue where government need to provide malnourished program for mother and children. Before this, Malaysian government has already done this program, but it does not go well. The program focus on malnourished the children but not about malnourished the mother, whereas the complete nutrition should start from the early pregnancy. The program supply the children with food aid to encourage them to consume healthier diet, which they will get 14 package of basic food. But the problem of this program is government don't provide the weight or instruction how to use it effectively. Because of that, the objective of that program cannot be achieved. Therefore, the recommendation that can be suggested to improve the program is by using the idea of Peru's government, where they implement Juntos program. Juntos program is where government help the poor mother and the children by giving them cash in exchange for their regular involvement at health, growth and nutrition checkup for their children. As the diagram shows, the success of Peru government in reduce the malnutrition rate in all three regions between 2011 and 2016. They success to reduce the malnutrition rate more than 6.3 national average, which is 7% in between 2011 to 2016. From that, Malaysian government can adapt this idea towards the implementation of the existing program by rebranding the name to Program Malnourished Mother and Children to make sure the objective to reduce the problem of malnutrition among children and to ensure that the child get enough nutrition from the early pregnancy until age of 6. In addition, this kind of program is really needed for the poor mother that live in urban area. The mother can use the cash to ensure that she get enough meal and nutrition throughout the pregnancy. Not only that, the mother can get medical checkup all along the pregnancy journey by using the cash. Other than that, the cash also help the mother to provide enough meal for her son. As UNICEF mentioned, more than 1 in 10 children receive less than 3 meals per day in low-cost flat in Kuala Lumpur. Then, due to the high expenses of food, around 97% of households in low-cost flat in Kuala Lumpur are unable to provide nutritious meal for their kids. Thus, this recommendation seems as it can help to improve the statistic and the needs to achieve complete nutrition among urban mother and child.
In conclusion, urban poverty is the big problem and unsettling in developing countries such as Malaysia. The issue from this presentation shows that urban poverty needs to be examined from a variety perspective. The government must know that tackling the issue of poverty is different from tackling rural poverty because the issues is different such as food insecurity, urban crime and homeless. Therefore, it is clear that Malaysia still needs to shape itself into an economically productive nation that can benefit its citizens. Lastly, the government needs to play their role to find the solution of this problem to ensure that this problem can be solved in the future effectively and efficiently. That's all from us. Thank you.